This one is called the pants. Take 8.
I'm one with you.
Yoga.
You're one with me.
Welcome to Funniest Thing. Daryl and
Together
Ed,
we
the best looking guys on the radio. We all know the funniest things happen when we stop taking ourselves too seriously and step out boldly, like Mr. Magoo blindly stepping onto the next swinging girder and falling into an outrageous jackpot.
Foop.
Your hosts, Daryl and Ed, are about to administer a refreshing dose of laughter and love that will inspire you to step out boldly and experience the funniest things. Now, here are your hosts, Daryl and Ed.
Welcome to The Funniest Thing, where each week we share stories about how stepping out boldly always leads to better than expected outcomes.
Wow.
And speaking about stepping out boldly, in case you're a listener on iTunes or at Unity Online Radio, we also have a video version of this show, all our shows on YouTube. You can get access to those at darylanded.com. I'm bringing that up because our YouTube viewers just got a rare treat of a little dance number Daryl and Ed put together just for the show.
Oh, yes.
And speaking of Daryl and Ed, I'm Daryl.
And I'm Ed.
And we're broadcasting live from Middle School Studios in downtown Culver City, the heart of Screenland.
Oh, it's good to be here today.
Yes, it is. And today's title is Don't Interfere with Your Dreams. Can you tell us what that's about, Ed?
Don't fear with your dreams.
Now, how are you spelling fear?
F-E-A-R.
That makes perfect sense.
Exactly. Don't let the enthusiasm you have for your dream throw you into a panic about how you're going to make it happen. The enthusiasm you feel is God's reassurance that you've caught a glimpse of His will for you. Joyful expectancy brings us closer to our dreams than fearfully striving to bring them about. That's good news.
That's relief.
Some more good news is that during the second segment, our fun-loving neighbor and Funniest Thing fan, Noel Bax, drops by to read and discuss today's daily word, grace. And I think I just heard him greasing up his hair wick for the episode.
That's right. He has one of those hipster haircuts. It's very short on the sides with the little hair wick on top.
You take the vacuum cleaner, you just have that hose end and you suck it all through there and then you wrap it.
Wrap it well. And you know what?
You can wax it too.
You know what? When you were reading that, a great companion episode to this would be Grace is my ace in the hole.
Grace is our ace in the hole.
Ace in the hole.
Yes.
And speaking about not letting the enthusiasm we feel being God's reassurance that we caught a glimpse of His will for us, coincidentally, and that's what we call funniest things when they happen. It's like, funniest thing, you're not going to believe it. We were sitting in the green room here at Middle School Studios.
The newly air-conditioned green room, thank goodness.
That's right. And I actually got a funniest thing story at the end of the show about that, having to return those units.
Yes.
And I opened up this book that just came in the mail today.
Yes.
In the mail, it's called Growing in God's Favor by Joel Osteen. He sent it to me for free.
Yes, now it's Osteen, mind you.
That's right, but New Jerseyans have trouble saying that.
Yes.
So I just flipped it open with Ed sitting here, and it landed on page 23, which coincides perfectly with our topic, and it says, God would not have put a dream in your heart if He had not already equipped you with what you need.
Oh, that is the crux of this whole thing.
Yes, and that is the crux of the problem, because every time I happen upon something that brings me a lot of joy,
yes,
the tendency is to think, well, how can I make this last? Or how can I turn this into a lifestyle? Or how can I make this a career?
Or what do I have to do
Yeah.
to make that happen? Or,
Right.
What do I have to do to make that happen? What do I have to change?
Yes, that puts it even clearer.
Yes.
Yes. Because it's like a how pops up, but then all that panic of how do I. And the key to it all is the realization that we just need to enjoy
yes.
the feelings that we get thinking about the thing we just discovered that we really enjoy, and continue to do it wherever we can with whatever we have. And we become magnetic to
Yes.
circumstances and opportunities that correspond directly to it.
Yes.
The problem is when what happens to me is I'll have one of those moments and I'll think, oh no, what do I got to do? How am I going to make this happen? I better go find someone who could teach me how to make this happen.
Yes.
Once I do that, now I'm stepping outside of myself.
Yes.
And I'm trying to work from the outside in.
Yes.
I'm trying to arrange circumstances to correspond with what made me happy. But now I'm not doing what makes me happy.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
now I'm away from just doing what made me happy, and I'm thinking, if I do this, what these people are saying or what I'm reading on the internet that I must do in order to make it happen the way I think it should happen,
Yeah.
in order for me to have more fun, I should have just been doing what was bringing me the fun, and I would have had more fun and the opportunities open.
When you said that, it gave me the idea. It's like we get these inspired insights about our dreams coming true. It's like God is our loving a grandparent that some reason sent us a picture of the
Yes.
gift that we're gonna get.
Yes.
And then it's like saying we're gonna send this in the mail, and you don't exactly know when it's gonna come, but instead of just living a joyful life and letting the post person
Yes.
deliver it, we start doing how am I going to earn this, but all the while it's coming. It's like getting a packet of seeds at the store. It has the picture of what it's going to grow into, and then we put the seeds in the ground, and then we start doubting that it's ever going to turn into the thing, and we start doing all kinds of crazy stuff because I'll start thinking I don't deserve it, what do I have to do to earn anything. And all that stuff, it doesn't really necessarily stop what I want from coming, but I may tire myself out and get so frustrated that
You'll quit.
I'll quit, which can be a good thing in the long run.
Well, yes, if we quit with the right, like I give up.
The worst is if I start trampling on it before it. I'll start like.
Well, that's what
kind
I
of-
mean. Smashing it, quitting,
Yeah,
going,
that's-
screw this.
Yeah, see?
That's the bad quitting.
Daryl and I always talk about the good quitting in a way is when Daryl and I get so beat up by our own fears and stuff that we're finally laying down on the mat, and God says, all right, he's finally open to the easy way. And then the easy way starts to happen.
And if you forget that, you could tell, like we often tell ourselves, I'm going to let this be easy. Oh, we got some good readings. Do you want to do the breaths? Because we got some good readings.
Yeah.
We got a great breath from a guru that Eddie and I from New Jersey.
Yeah, Eddie's good.
That we've been following since we were children.
Yes.
And he's a sage when it comes to the best motivational quotes.
Really, a small green man who was a precursor to Yoda.
Yes, he was.
So, and that was, why don't you tell him who it was?
That was Jiminy Cricket.
Why don't you read the original quote? We have it. You have it on
Yeah.
that spare sheet I gave you, if you have it there.
Yes, I do. This original quote was the funniest thing in today's reading from Alan Cohen.
Yes.
And it is, when your heart is in your dreams, no request is too extreme.
All right. So that's
Jiminy Cricket.
Yes, Jiminy Cricket. So our 3 breaths is going to be a little affirmation based on that very quote.
right.
So let's take 1 breath to clear our mind, and then we'll kick it in. When my heart is in my dreams, no request is too extreme.
When my heart is in my dreams, no request is too extreme.
When my heart is in my dreams, no request is too extreme. Anyway, so we got some good readings to start off, and I love this show because so much good's been happening for me that a lot of fear over the last week has come up. It even manifested a few days ago. I had a fever, and the thing that was was a blessing about the fever is I could feel all the fear that was underneath it, because I've talked about this before, but when I was having the fever, I couldn't sleep because of the ache and stuff. But what I do is I'd get up, I'd read something inspiring, I'd do a short meditation, all the ache would go away, I'd fall asleep, I'd sleep a couple hours. I'd wake up. I'd have sweat out,
Some more.
some more of the fever, and then I'd do it again.
Yes.
And so, but what I realized is there's so much good happening. I got the Coconut Donut album is basically done, just about ready to be released. The show is doing wonderful. Things are happening with the show. So many things are happening. So
This makes perfect sense because that's the time
Yeah.
when all this good is happening, and then the thought of, well, I don't deserve this, and then it's quickly followed by, I better be doing something to keep this going or make this, because I
Yeah.
don't just deserve this to happen.
right.
And all
right.
that stuff starts
And it
coming
can
up.
be judgments I've placed against myself a long time ago. And see, this is why this practicing this stuff and doing a morning routine is so good because, I mean, a big part of my consciousness has been fully invested in the fears that have been coming. I mean, I've been really having to dummy down.
Yes.
And just because I know when I feel good, I realize that everything I'm afraid of is an illusion. And, doing this show and reading and stuff and doing that stuff in the morning to help me remember, even when a lot of my consciousness is afraid, there's some part of me that knows that God is loving me. Life is loving me. Everything is moving in a positive direction. And those are the moments when affirmations have been really helping me. Like I've been telling myself, there's no punishment in God. Everything's always flowing in my direction.
Right.
Everything's so that stuff has been great. All these tools have been really helping me this week.
Another one that's been helping me a lot lately is repeating the affirmation, and you could substitute your name, of course.
Yeah.
Daryl, I love you. Daryl,
Oh, yeah.
I love you. Also, another one that helps me if I can't sleep or wake up with a headache or
Yeah.
I'm thinking negative or I feel tension,
Yeah.
I'll go, God's love flows through me freely.
Yeah.
And what a difference that makes.
Oh, yeah. Let me throw in before you read that one of the things that helped me this week, because what you just said reminded me, affirming that I am love.
Yes.
Like until it means something.
Yes.
Because one of the things when there's a lot of fear going on lately, I have to sit somewhere where I can get a moment of kind of to myself, preferably whether it's air conditioning or I go outside where there's a breeze, and I'll just start by affirming all of this fear it's only all this that I'm afraid it's only happening in my consciousness. Because if I look around, no one else is thinking it or saying it. It's at this
That's
point,
right.
and if we catch it when it's in our consciousness, when I catch it at that level, as scary as it can feel to even look at it and feel it, it actually, I think it removes it from my life experience. If I can, you know what I mean? If I can treat it at the level of my thinking.
Right, then you don't have to experience
yeah,
in your alley. We got two.
So
this
Daryl's
one
got,
by accident.
that's why I wanted to share that, because it leads perfectly into these readings.
I'm glad you did, because this one I just found this morning
Well, why
from
don't
that
you
old book.
tell us that one, and then whatever way.
Well, what you were just saying, what Ed was just explaining, is the
Yeah.
importance of catching these things when they're still in my mind.
Yes.
And healing that with reminding ourselves of the truth. That's why affirmations work.
Yes.
It's just reminding ourselves of what's true.
Yes.
So the fears that are running around on the surface of my mind don't become my reality.
Yeah.
And Charles F. Hannell, and this is from the Master Key System. It's a book I found out. I don't even believe it's still in publication. I'm holding it up.
I remember this one. We
for-
got some good stuff out of there in the past.
Yeah, for the people looking on iTunes. It's an old leather-bound book embossed, and it's called The Master Key System. It was written in 1916. And this is exactly what he said. He goes, thought is the only reality. Conditions are but the outward manifestations.
Yes.
As the thought changes, all outward or material conditions must change in order to be in harmony with their creator, which is thought. And I want to add, don't let that throw you into a panic, because your bad thinking does not have the oomph that God's loving grace has. So if you start, just know it takes a lot of mental negative anguish to produce negative circumstances in your life.
Even if a circumstance happens, it's only there to lead us back
to
into
this thinking.
Life and into love. And the sooner we realize that, it doesn't matter what it is. I've worked with people in prison. Daryl's worked with all kinds of people. I've worked with people in school who are in trouble. The moment they let go of the struggle and just allow the help to happen, the whole thing changes.
Circumstances
guaranteed,
adjust.
always.
That circumstances correspond instantly. Within months, they're saying, "I don't believe it. so and so called me, and this fell into here, and that fell into there,
Right.
and now I'm like no longer going to be getting in trouble like I thought I would, like every single time.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
but here's the thing: why we stress a morning routine.
Yes.
we have to continue to do
That's
this,
right.
because it's easy to drop back into
Right.
those fearful thoughts. This other reading comes
That's
from
another really good one.
Carrie Moss Hawley. It's called My Soul and I. This one's from 1926. She was a student of William James, and she
Yes.
wrote, "You must rid yourself for all time of the notion that something stands in the way of the accomplishment of what you would do. Nothing stands in the way of your goal but what you yourself place there. When you once discover that you are really a free being, you will readily understand. It is not so difficult to possess what you wish for as you think it is. You magnify seeming obstacles. You wear yourself and your energy out by the needless struggle you make. You work backwards. Your desire is now actually in the line of least resistance
Yes.
when you act as though it were the way of the greatest difficulty." And I have an example. I was talking to Ed right before this. When I came to California, I was having fun. I made a little documentary on the East Coast about the doorman. I came out here and I thought, how am I going to get into the business? Because it seems like, how do you break into showbiz out here? I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
But from practicing these things, I just went with that inner, like I knew I needed to keep creating.
Yes.
And I wanted to just make another documentary. So me and my wife were down at the 3rd Street Promenade. There was a street band called the Red Elvises. And I go, I'll use my video camera and just make a little documentary on these guys. And every day I'd go down there, I'd videotape them. It was just fun, like getting the shots, talking to them.
And that's good use of your time in one of those times where it's easy to flip out because no one's telling you where you need to be, or you don't have
Right.
so you were making a choice and just investing your creativity in a positive way. Which is great.
And it made me feel so good. I felt like I was like already living my dream. And I was still looking for, side work, waiting tables, whatever it was. And what happened was, and I want everyone to pay attention to this, is just do it, like she says in that quote. Because if you're just doing, like Ed creating his music, then boom, you attract people into your life.
Yes.
And now Coconut Donut's being made. And
That's
this
right.
is a similar story.
Yes.
So I'm shooting the Red Elvises. I'm not even caring about how am I going to edit this? Why even bother?
Yes.
Nothing. It's only on video, not film. I could have stopped at any one of those thoughts, but I just kept diving in and going, I don't care what happens with this. I'm enjoying it. Someone down there bumped into me and he goes, "Hey, what are you going to do with this?" I said, "I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how to do it." He goes, "How to put it together is what I said." He goes, "Well, you should go to public access." Public access, it's the free, at the time we had TV here in LA that anyone could be on.
Right.
And it was right in Marina Del Rey, in the same town I lived in. It was
Amazing.
bizarre.
And it's always that way.
Like she said, it's the path of least resistance when we're living it. So I went there and I explained, I said I'd like to do, air these guys on the television station. And the director of the station on my way out said, "What do you do for a living?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, nothing right now. I was doing the special, the models for Con Air, but I'm just looking for work now." He goes, "You'd make a great program director." And I was like, "What does a program director do?" He goes, "You direct the shows, and you work with all the talent."
Right.
And I'm going, wow, like I'd never done that before, but that's what I came here to do.
Yes.
And I ended up working there, and there were interns there. And here's another lesson. Don't intern with the thought, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to, I'll kiss butt. And then that way I'll break in the business. Because I came from the outside so full of love of what I was doing. At first, I went through what you were talking about. I don't deserve this because there were interns there that had been struggling. So they deserved it more than me.
Right.
But because they were struggling to break in, it pushes it away.
It's not attractive energy.
Yeah, and then I just rose through the ranks of that until I was doing the local edition segments for CNN Headline News. But that's the secret to really living from the inside out. If there's something you love to do, then do it and enjoy the joy it brings to you and the smiles it brings to others by doing it. And the good you seek will seek you.
And another great show we had, hurl your crap over the fence. Just hurl the crap
Absolutely.
over the fence as soon as possible and get to doing what you love. Well, coming up next, our fun-loving neighbor and funniest thing fan, Noel Bax, drops by to read and discuss today's daily word, which is grace. Thank you for listening to Funniest Thing on Unity Online Radio.
This one is called the pants. Take 8.
Woo! All right.
Poof. Two big test tubes, like those giant old tubes, test tubes, burst right behind.
Oh, with that high note we hit?
Yeah, behind Jeff Comfort, our
The meter's
audio
peaking.
engineer.
It's peaking. It's clipping. Oh, my God.
That's why they call me the Yankee Clipper.
Oh, the Yankee Zephyr. Remember that movie? Search for the Yankee Zephyr?
No, but I remember the Yankee Clipper. Wasn't that Joe DiMaggio?
Oh, I don't.
But it's funny because a Clipper is a giant sailing ship,
I
I
know.
thought. We'll find out from Noel Bax. He's our sports
This is
guy.
incredible stuff that you hear when you're on the YouTube channel. Let's see. Should we let him in?
Yeah, let him in.
I'll accept.
Wait, why does he sound like
Hi.
this?
Oh, my goodness.
For a minute, it sounded like
Oh my
I was going to say, it sounded like you were coming from a satellite
Yeah,
dish.
the
Look at this
I'm a
guy.
Martian. Dunkin' Donuts is in L.A.
Oh, my
There's one
God.
on Washington.
You
Are
actually-
there lines out the door like there were in the ones in Santa Monica for a while?
No.
Santa Monica
They-
for months, you couldn't even get in there without waiting for a 2-block line.
Now, are
I
you
know.
excited for today's episode?
I'm always excited to see you funny fellows.
Well, listen,
Funny.
first of all, who is the Yankee Clipper?
I don't know who is the Yankee Clipper.
I thought you would know. You're a sports guy. I think it was.
Is there any reality to this, you're saying?
Yeah, I think it was Joe DiMaggio.
All right,
You play basketball? Are you saying?
No, the
Clippers.
Yankee Clipper. He was in the Yankees. I think
I'm more of a football guy.
a Yankee Clipper.
Well, here it is. Look.
What's it say?
There's an inn called the Yankee Clipper. Yep.
Joe DiMaggio. I was right.
Hey,
Mr. Coffee.
that's all that
The
matters.
Yankee Clipper is a Sea Scout sailing vessel in the city of Seattle. Clipper ships developed by New England.
Yeah, but you know what? I bet you know how New Yorkers are. They take words like we take. You know, we'll just call somebody a word because we've heard it before and it fits with the word Yankee.
Well, he was nicknamed that by the announcer. Where was it?
Phil
I'll
Rizzuto.
have to find that. You know, you get the Wikipedia and the Google shows you a line, but it's so hard to. Sometimes it can be challenging to find where that line is in there. Let's see. Sports legacy. Overtime.
Wow, look at him. He's got a halo.
I know. This is nice. I was thinking about turning that light off, but
Well, where are you?
Oh,
I thought
in
you were
my bed.
outside.
I gotta keep my dog.
you have a
Oh,
halo
here we
of
come back.
grace.
Okay.
Halo of grace.
You're listening to Funniest Thing with Daryl and Ed, the best looking guys on the radio. If you have a question or comment about today's show, or if you'd like
He's
to
giving
join
us
in
the
the
cue.
discussion, friend us on Facebook at Funniest Thing with Daryl
Yeah,
and Ed.
everyone's
Or
doing the
email us at
rodeo.
Funniest Thing at
The
unityonlineradio.com.
tornado.
Now, back to Funniest Thing.
Yes, welcome back to Funniest Thing. We're so happy you're still with us. To segment
Yes.
2 with our today's show is don't interfere with your dreams. Like
Yes.
don't stick a stick in the spokes of your dreams.
Right. Yeah, because suffering and struggle and pain is just not part of the universal equation. It's not necessary.
No, and we just learned in the last segment that actually the road to your dream is the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
And the things that we think we need to overcome are inventions in our mind.
There's something from Eric Butterworth in Spiritual Economics where he says, God does not heal, consciousness heals. And as your consciousness heals, God flows in your
Oh,
life. Or
yes,
something
yes,
like
because
that.
it flows in that direction.
I really like
Because when
that.
I'm resisting, I'm stopping the flow of love. When I'm looking fearfully, I'm like, whoop, I'm like limiting. I'm believing in limitation. But then as soon as I just give up, whew, God flows in.
Dude, Ernest Holmes, I'll just take a couple
Yeah.
lines from this reading from Science of Mind, page 207. He says, surely there can be no intelligence in the universe that wishes man to be sick, suffer pain, be unhappy, or end in oblivion. Man, That's music to my ears. You
Yeah,
know how
we would've
my
been-
mind
if
works.
that were true, we would have been dead years ago.
That's right. Surely if God or universal intelligence is imbued with goodness, then it cannot ordain that man should be other than a perfect expression of life, ultimately be an expression of perfect life. Because that's the beauty of our life, is we get to choose into feeling good, because there's something, like you said,
Yes.
there's something
Yes.
about, that's what makes kindness so amazing. That's what makes
Yes.
joyful people so amazing, is because it's a choice we make.
Yeah, we realize that it feels so good, but then we realize it's because they're actually choosing
Yeah.
to be kind, which means open up the fire hose of God's love and aim it at us.
And that's a
instead
great-
of shutting it down and going, what do you want, Mac?
Yeah, that's a great thing to know, because I used to think when like the doubt and fear would come up, I thought it meant, oh, I'm some kind of bad person. I don't
Oh,
have
me
those
too.
kinds of, I didn't realize that what sets people apart that actually go on to express what they want to express is that even in the face of our own fears, we get to then make a choice.
Yes.
Like you can make I've been making gratitude lists. I make a little list on my iPhone that says, this day is amazing because. This moment is amazing because. As soon as I start getting into that, everything that I was worried about just totally evaporates.
Yes.
And everything is flowing as it should.
Oh, that's awesome. And speaking of awesome,
Awesome.
we have the most awesome fans.
Yes, we do.
We appreciate you so much.
Yes,
this
we do.
show, doing this show, brings us so much healing.
Yes.
Makes us feel so good about ourselves.
Yes.
We love your comments. We love your emails. We love your letters, your gifts. We love it all. Thank you so much. And sharing our show. We got great news. You know what we just discovered, Ed?
What did we discover?
We discovered we are broadcasting to 170 countries.
Yes.
We have fans on Facebook, a fan in every one of the 50 states.
Yes.
And up until this month, we have had over 157,000 downloads.
That's juicy.
That's amazing, because me and Ed figured out we probably have maybe between the two of us, and this is being generous, 20 friends
Yeah.
that even have an interest in this show.
Yes.
So we're just going to say if all those friends listen to our show,
Yeah.
we've only done 122 episodes, so that's only 244 downloads. So all these rest of our listeners, we really appreciate you, because you're not even getting your arm twisted into listening. You're
Unlike
listening
our
because
friends who we pummel with constant emails. Please listen to us.
No, actually,
support the arts.
actually, that's the great thing we're going to be able to share in the third segment, is how we don't do any of that.
That's true. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. All right. Well, what else do we have on here?
Our website?
We had that Twitter guy. Who was his name? Some fellow on Twitter that you were talking about. Woj?
Yes. Daniel Noji, he has like 27,000 followers, and he started following Daryl and Ed.
And sharing our tweets. So
Yes.
thank you. We appreciate that. We also appreciate the man over there behind the fourth wall, as Daryl calls it. Daryl has an extensive theater background, as you know.
Here we go, folks.
So we on the other side of that fourth wall over there, the chief engineer.
Jeff Comfort,
Because each week
he takes us right into the comfort zone. Man, he's back in his little jet.
the Yankee Clipper.
Yeah, if you listened last week, he had a giant, like C-130 or something.
Daryl was mentioning the Yankee Clipper on the break to our YouTube fans, and we found out because he somehow Daryl hung on to one bit of sports knowledge that
That's
Joe
right.
DiMaggio was called the Yankee Clipper.
Yes.
And I found out that it was an announcer in like 1939 or something in Dodger Stadium. I mean, Yankee Stadium, who called him that because he was stealthy, fast and agile, like the there was a new Pan Air, whatever. Some kind of
Oh,
plane.
that's right. The new jet was called
New
the
jet.
Yankee Clipper.
Yes, so that's why they called
I
him the
never
Yankee
knew
Clipper.
that. He was also known as Mr. Coffee.
Is that right?
Yeah, some of our fans will know that.
I thought you were Mr. Coffee.
Well, now I am.
Hey. All right. Shout out to the prayer line.
1-800-NOW-PRAY or 1-800-669-7729. I
Yes.
suggested it to a friend of ours, Jan
Yes.
Glusak, the
Yes.
best elementary school teacher we've known.
Yes.
And she, for a friend of hers mom who wasn't doing too good, she said, send prayers. And I said, I'll do that. But in the meantime, call this number. I said, don't feel weird about it.
Yes.
Just do it. You will feel so much better, and I can't wait to hear about the coincidences that occur as a result
Yes.
of your calling and saying a prayer with Silent Unity.
Oh, I've been seeing healing all over the place, and we can't forget the You Pray app, the letter U Pray app, which is available at the App Store. I sent one in when I was having that fever. Within a day, I had received a letter, and I just shared the affirmation they gave me, which is, "Thank you, God, for your powerful energy that fills me and renews me. I am strong, healthy, and whole." And we were talking about this over that Butterworth show that we heard.
Oh my God! Let's
On
bring that up.
Discovering Eric Butterworth.
Yes,
It's in the archives. It's a Tom Thorpe show.
It's called "You Can Only Be You" is the episode.
And they talk about things that we're talking about here today. One of the things that I was going to share right now is they talked about the way Eric Butterworth would pray was to first get into a mindset of oneness with God, that we really are an expression of God, and then speak the truth of our wholeness and our healthiness. And the beauty of praying this way is that when I do that, I feel it. I realize that that's what's real.
Well,
that's what we
yeah.
say about affirmations. The reason they work is because we actually get to remind ourselves what is already going on.
Well, that's why I believe when Jesus would always refer to "I am the Father," like
Yeah.
he was cementing himself
Yes.
in that.
Yes, I and my Father are one. All
Yes,
kinds of
I and my
stuff.
Father are one. He's getting centered.
Yes.
And then he could affirm. Then
Yeah.
he could send forth the truth.
Yeah, because he even would say, "Well, these are not my words; they're
That's
from
right.
the one who sends me." He would say all kinds of stuff like that. So I agree with you. So if it was good enough for Jesus,
It's good enough for us.
that's right. That's right. And now, speaking of
The
bearded fellows,
That's right. Who walk the earth in sandals.
and blessed all those around them.
It's the Daily Word time. Ed and I love the Daily Word, and so does Noel, because it's not just for little old ladies. Go, Granny, go, Granny, go, Granny, go. And you could get the Daily Word at an incredibly low subscription price, lower than anywhere else at DarylandEd.com. And we suggest you do.
I know someone who's happy today because the NFL season is getting ready to start. So let's bring him on.
And that's Noel Bax.
Noel Bax.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good
to see you.
Same here.
Likewise,
Yeah.
man. Can you tell
Super
what?
pumped about the NFL.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you. What's the name of your podcast again?
Gridiron Wake Up Call. So that the podcast will be up tomorrow, and it'll be previewing all the games the week ahead. And we do it once a week, and we preview and we recap all the games. So if there's any NFL fans out there, I highly suggest that.
You
can
can
find
be
it on
spiritual
iTunes.
and enjoy sports.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You know why I love our guests? Because they come from all walks of life. It's like everyday people.
Yes.
Really, it's almost like if I was listening to this show, I'd be so excited because I remember when I was new to this stuff, I'd be like, oh, wow, that guy practices this stuff too. Oh, that guy does
Yes.
this too. Instead of it just being that little fishbowl of gurus. You know what I mean? It was more
Yeah.
miraculous to me to know that a guy who bartends by night, NFL aficionado,
Dances by day.
Noel Bax is living this stuff.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I think, too, I mean, not a lot of guys like us, like me and you guys, we're not the most spiritual people. We come to this stuff, but we wake up with the minds that we have, and we need to, use this stuff. We're normal
Yes.
guys just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Yes.
know,
That's
I
good. Yes. It's
Yeah, I
not,
don't
but
necessarily
it's
think I'm a spiritual person. Sorry to cut you off, but I try, every day I need it because I've seen my selfishness and my ego and my brain go off the deep end, and so I need this stuff to bring me back and help me realize how grateful I can be right now.
Yeah.
You know what? I like that because it's not by virtue that we do this stuff. We do it because of two reasons. One, our life depends on it, and two, it works. But
Yeah, exactly.
and you know what, too? Even in the Bible, Jesus had to go through the same stuff.
Yes.
Because remember, he was out there and his ego started to wake up and going, hey, man, you can make a lot of money doing this healing stuff. He
Yes.
goes, get behind me, Satan. He had to keep throwing, that stuff was making him crazy, it
Yeah.
does in our heads. And he was like, whoop, nope, delete. I'm going to focus on the good,
Now, go ahead.
And he always did it for like the outcast, for the people who needed it
Yes.
the most. His biggest thing was always to help other people and like have God's light shine through him to other people. And he did all his miracles for helping others.
Yes.
In that light of compassion. Like
Right.
his biggest thing wasn't necessarily like, how do I get holy so I can get all this stuff? It's like, how do I connect with God so I can share that with other people and
Yes.
truly then be the light that shines, and you don't have to look for that light anywhere, because when you're helping other people, God's light shines through you, and that's what he did, and that's what I love so much about the man.
And I love this stuff because this stuff allows me to be me more fully. I was never good at following what other people say just because they say it. I like stuff that rang true in my own heart. And this show is all about don't interfere with your dreams. Meaning don't put fear in between you and the dreams that God's putting in your heart and what you're capable of accomplishing. And that is the beauty of this stuff. I can be more of who I am. I can enjoy more of the things I sincerely enjoy, but not less. This is not something like I have, like this. I feel like this opens me up to more good, more joy, more of who I am, instead of, like we always talk about, starving myself or trying to make myself into someone I'm not.
Well, yeah, we don't want people to get the impression that being of service and lifting others up is like sacrificing. I'm going to ignore my dream because I'm going to help others. No. Doing what you love is being of service. God gave you a special talent that makes you come alive. You will naturally help people as a result of it, because the same reason Noel does his NFL podcast is the same reason we do this one. It's because he loves sharing this stuff to like-minded people to lift their joy up too about the same topic. Right. And funniest thing, while you were talking, look what I found in that Joel Osteen book. If you help somebody else become successful, God will make sure you are successful.
There it is.
Yeah. So let's hear the daily word.
Okay. So this is a tough act to follow from last week, that pretty lady with her gorgeous voice. But today's daily word is grace, and the affirmation, I open my heart to the grace of God. I love to see flowers awaken to a new day. As the sunlight touches them, they respond by opening their petals in a beautiful display of color. In the same way, I open my heart to the grace of God. The activity of grace in me is as constant as the sun rising and falling. Grace is always present. My heart's opening takes no personal effort when I surrender to the light within me. Grace comes naturally. I feel warmth, acceptance, and love. With each new moment, I surrender my old ways and embrace more this divine activity. I let grace bring about perfect outcomes and let go into a deep feeling of trust and peace. Whatever efforts I make in life, grace adds more good than I could ever imagine. Let us therefore approach the throne of grace with boldness, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in the time of need. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 16. Okay, so man, when you guys told me to read this stuff, I was so pumped up. I love it so much because it talks about surrender a lot, and in each moment surrendering over to God's grace. Like I've come to the conclusion that I sometimes, I live in fear, or I have a selfish mind, or I want things to work out for me. And those have led me down a path of, not great outcomes. And so I had to change. I had to have this spiritual awakening where I had to do a 180 on how I thought, which was selfish. Now I got to be selfless. And by selfless, not so much thinking of myself, less of myself, but continuing to just give my thoughts, give my actions, give my life over to God, over to this power greater than myself in every moment. And when I relax and let go and just, don't have to do anything, but that grace comes through me, then I really feel alive. Then I feel, a part of this world. Then I feel like this freedom and this peace. It's not always comfortable, and it's not all about just making me feel good.
Right.
It's about constantly getting out of my selfish ways and giving over to God, because things are going to happen the way they're going to happen. I'm just the passenger in the driver's seat, and I got to let go. Absolutely. Got to take my hands off of the wheel, and I got to let God drive that car and have that deep trust that it talks about, that deep trust and peace that when I let go, those things are going to happen for me. And so I love that surrender. I love not having to do anything but just continuing to surrender and give it over to that grace, to that God that's within me, that power greater than myself, that is love, that has taken me, to places that I personally could never do on my own self-will. I got to keep giving it over.
Your love is taking me higher
Get it?
than it's ever.
Taken before.
There you go.
Nice.
It's a couple of things in this I love before we go to the break here, which is coming up right now.
Yeah.
Is the things that help me with this are, like you said, trust and grace. And I like how it addressed both those things right exactly the way I like it in this reading. And this is why we recommend the Daily Word to all our listeners. And we recommend the paper one. It's the same price, but then you could go back and see some of the other goodies.
Same goes for the large print, which I like.
Yeah, but I'm trying to prove my eyes aren't going bad. So
I see.
because it helps me. The two things I was saying was trust and grace. What I mean by trust is my mind starts getting scared that my dreams are going to happen the way I think they should, and that tends then from coming from that place of fear, I end up doing things that just postpone my good and that I'm not really happy in the moment. I feel frustrated because I'm acting selfishly from this fear. But when I remind myself, no, God's in charge. He knows what's the best for me. He knows I really enjoy this. I'm going to trust that he's arranging things on the unseen plane so I can just be a joyful philanthropist and be kind to people who come across my life,
Yes.
knowing that my good is going to happen. And grace, meaning we always receive more than we sow, always have if you look back over your life, and we are never punished to the degree we believe we worry we will be. Never, never, ever.
That's right. All right.
Yeah. Thank you. It was great.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, Noel Bax, thank you for coming on today. We appreciate it. And it's called, what is it called? Gridiron Wake Up?
Gridiron Wake Up Call. iTunes and Podomatic.
Say it like a man, Ed.
Gridiron Wake Up Call.
With no backs.
With no backs.
Yeah.
All right.
I recommend the YouTube because of how jacked you're looking at. It must be all that surfing.
Oh my God. Well, thank you, dude. Coming from you, I appreciate that.
We love you.
And coming
Noel.
up after the break, we have a joke of the day, listener mailbag, and more. So thank you for listening to Funniest Thing on Unity Online Radio.
This one is called the pants.
Bax is in the house.
Bizarks.
Gridiron Wake Up Call. With no backs.
I'm going to start listening to the Gridiron Wake Up Call because I'm always looking for things that are just anyone who's talking about anything enthusiastically.
And I end
don't
up
even
loving
care what it is.
Man, me too. Like I never was like big into like collecting cars and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Their cars are nice. I like looking at some old times, but never following like the circuit of car auctions.
Yeah.
And there's this one show called Chasing Counting Cars.
Yeah?
But the guy, he loves it so much, and he's so I love it. Like anybody who's talking about something they love and their enthusiasm
Yeah.
is so attractive to me, and it's so positive.
I'm subscribing right now.
We're subscribing
I love it.
to Gridiron Wake Up Call. I'm going to do the
Hey,
same.
If you want to rate and comment, you can always do that too.
Yes,
No,
definitely.
of course. We
Yeah,
forget to
don't-
tell people that.
We're going to
Thank
tell
you.
people that on ours too.
I'm NFL. Yeah, that's what I try to. I'm NFL junkie 99999 or whatever because I had to rate my own show.
Yeah.
I didn't put my name. Yeah, it's huge. I think that's how you get it up there in the whole podcast world. But yeah, thanks. I haven't seen you guys in at least 3 weeks, so we should all hang out one of these days.
Yeah, we
And,
got to hook up.
Sounds good.
Maybe this weekend.
Yeah.
All right, dudes. Great
We
to
love
see
you.
you.
God bless you, man.
Take care. Love
Bye.
you too. Bye.
Here we go.
All right, we're ready.
Oh, the
You want to Tell them
When the
punchline.
taxi
We now
driver
return to the
drove,
funniest
everyone
thing.
prayed.
Here are your hosts.
Everyone
Daryl
prayed.
and Ed,
Everyone prayed is the
best-looking guys
punchline.
on the radio.
Everyone prayed is the punchline. All right, welcome back. We're into the third segment.
Oh boy!
It's don't interfere with your dreams.
Hey, yes, let me tell you something.
Yes,
you
tell
said
us.
it because everyone got to say what they loved about the Daily Word.
Yes,
and I
say
didn't
what
really
you
say
love.
anything, but you said it so perfectly. This is one of the main things that I feel like really sets you apart from most people that teach anything related to spirituality, and really helped me to like has come out of my own closet about this very same thing, because this is why I love it, is that the good we seek arrives in amazing ways.
You always.
It's like we're not into a spirituality of doing without.
Yes.
We're into a spirituality that leads to more good in ways that feel so good. And I am always practicing to learn how to become, better at it.
Yes.
And to convince myself of this truth, which is, this stuff is so good because the good we seek arrives. Every time Daryl and I talk, when there's something going on, it's not uncommon where Daryl calls me, oh, I'm thinking about doing this. And then I talk to him 10 minutes later. You're not going to believe this.
my
I
God.
just got a letter. It's whether it's refinancing the home,
Oh.
whatever it is. You'll get a letter in the mail directly asking you to do the very thing that you want to do. Same thing happens for me all the time in my work, with my family, with music. This stuff, that's why it's so good.
Yeah, so if you're listening, well, in a nutshell, what the way to do this is, it's okay to expect all the time. Enjoy the feeling of expectation.
Yes.
Just don't outline.
Yeah.
Like, know that God has infinite ways. If you have a little glimpse of how you think it should turn out, just throw this at the end of it. This or something even better.
Yeah.
And it will come.
Yeah, or that could work out. That's
Yes.
a nice idea.
Yes.
And you put up, can I read this reading that you
Yes.
put it up the other day from 24 Hours a Day, right? That's
Yes.
the name of the meditation book.
Yes, it is.
And it says, a consciousness of God's presence as one who loves you makes all life different. And I would add one who likes you, too.
Yes.
Because our minds get confused about what love is. But God is our friend that
Yes, he
likes
likes
us.
you.
The consciousness of God's love promotes the opening of your whole being to God. It brings wonderful relief from the cares and worries of our daily lives. Relief brings peace, and peace brings contentment. Try to walk in God's love. You will have that peace which passes all understanding, and a contentment that no one can take from you. Feel sure of God's unfailing love and care for you and for all his children. There is freedom and serenity in those who walk in God's love, held safe in his loving care. That freedom and serenity is what we were talking about.
Yes.
That's what inspires other people. That's what inspired that guy to give you the job. When they
Yes.
sense that freedom and then serenity and joy. And the prayer for the day is, I pray that I may walk in God's love. I pray, and you could say, I pray that I may realize that I'm always
Yes.
walking in God's love. I pray that as I go, I may feel the spring of God's power in my steps and the joy of his love in my heart. And remember that word. Daryl talks about this a lot. It's joy.
Yes.
It means joy. It means like really being happy.
I know, because in that song as a kid, joy to the world.
Yeah.
That always made joy sound like something sour.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
no,
yeah.
it's joy, man. And speaking of joy, what do we got now?
Oh, we got a story. Do you hear about the taxi driver in heaven?
No, this sounds like a good one, though.
Well, a priest and a taxi driver both died and went to heaven. St. Peter was at the pearly gates waiting for them.
Come with me.
Said St. Peter to the taxi driver. The taxi driver did as he was told and followed St. Peter to a mansion. It had anything you can imagine, from a bowling alley to an Olympic-sized pool.
Wow.
Wow, thank you, said the taxi driver. Next, St. Peter led the priest to a rugged old shack with a bunk bed and a little old television set. Wait, I think you are a little mixed up, said the priest. Shouldn't I be the one who gets the mansion? After all, I was a priest. I went to church every day and preached God's word.
Yes, that's true, but during your sermons, people slept. When the taxi driver drove, everyone prayed.
Yeah!
Oh, I hear Gabby the postal pitbull. They're here. What has she got? She's got one little letter here.
Well, that's good enough for us, right?
Yeah, what do you got? You want to read it? Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
it comes from Rachel Gallant from Manchester, New Hampshire. It says, Dear Daryl and Ed, thank you both for all your continued inspiration. You put the zip in zippity-doo-dah day. Have a fantastic week. I look forward to sharing another copy of What If Godzilla Wanted a Hug with Dylan. My husband Mike will be the next blessed recipient. That's from Rachel.
Yes,
And
she sent us a package, and if you go to our Facebook
Yes.
page, Rachel sends us the most wonderful surprise
Yes.
packages. She decorates them with all sorts of stuff.
Yes.
and we appreciate them so much. And she's even kind and generous enough. She sends us tithes, which go towards the production of this show.
oh my God,
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, because Ed and I really do produce this show ourselves. They really are monthly contributions from our
Yeah.
credit card.
Yeah,
Automated contributions from our credit card, thank to God.
So one other thing. Oh yeah, Mr. French. There's an article about if you want to find out how Mr. French came to work and become the station manager for Funniest Thing with Daryl and Ed.
Yes.
Daryl just posted on our Facebook fan page something exciting.
Yes.
Why don't you tell him?
Yes,
what that
Lori's book.
is? Your wife.
Yeah,
Lori.
my wife,
Lori
Lori.
Fazzaro.
It's My Old Dog, Rescue Pets in a Remarkable Second Acts.
And these are great stories that are very much in line with this show.
Yes. These are dog stories that sound like Daryl and Ed stories.
Funniest things all around.
All Funniest Things stories, and she's getting outstanding reviews. And the co-author, Laura Coffey, who actually wrote it, and Lori did all the photography, she asked if I would share the story of Mr. French because he's a senior dog who came to live with us, and now he's our station manager.
Yes.
So if you're one of our fans and you'd love to hear about how Mr. French came to be our station manager here at Funniest Thing and what happened to Sonny, because if
Yes.
you've been listening for a while, you probably remember Sonny
Sonny,
used
yep.
to be here. And you can get that all on our Facebook page. We'll also put it on our website at darylned.com on the script.
Then you'll be able to
page.
find out about how to get the book as well.
Yes, we'll put that
Which
on
is
there
another
too.
book that you can just read any page, like Emmett Fox says. This show is about where you're putting your confidence, right?
Yes.
Because your dreams are coming through, like we said, they're being inspired by God. And Emmett Fox this morning and around the year said, confidence is worship. This is so important. You worship whatever you trust. Are you trusting more in fear or in God? What are you worshiping? That is the test. And that is a question moment to moment. It's not something I just assume. I can tell whether, by the way I feel, which one is true at any moment.
That you can
Yes.
tell that's putting me on fire
I love
because
it.
we got two good, quick stories
Yes.
of applying that.
Yes.
One is, you probably heard on the last show, I had to return 2 air conditioners. I'm
Yes.
going, well, what good is going to come out of this? And
Yes.
drove all the way 30 miles out there with my wife. Meanwhile, my wife, Lori, has been a little bit concerned about getting a gown because she's going to be doing a red carpet thing for the Lifetime channel,
Yeah.
the Hero Dog Awards, because of her book coming out. So she's been a little stressed out because she's a jeans and t-shirt type of girl, you know. So we go out there, return the air conditioners. I had a hunch as we were leaving because it went fine. They didn't think I was a bad person for, all those little fears that can crop up. I had to keep
Yes.
deleting them.
Right.
Everything went smooth because I deleted all those fears, had a wonderful exchange at Sears, and we decided to go to this other store, which we would have never gone to if I didn't have to return these air conditioners.
Yeah.
Sure enough, she's picking up dress. I'm going, no. Because we decided to look for the dress. And in my mind, I had a flash. A halter top would look great on Lori. The next gown she picks is a halter top. She tries it on. It is the perfect gown.
Yep.
She's relieved of all stress. And we're driving home. I go, do you realize if we didn't have to return both air conditioners, which could be, what's going wrong in my life? We would have never had this. You wouldn't have a gown. You wouldn't be relieved of the stress. Nothing, absolutely nothing happens by mistake.
And that's only a half of it because you guys also ended up with over $600 worth of clothes for $200, which you needed
Oh my
for the
God.
upcoming speaking cruise. you're
That's
gonna
right,
do.
for the cruise. And that was at a Gap outlet that I didn't even know existed in Burbank.
That's right. We can tell them all about podcast land next
That's
episode
true.
and what
And
they can do to help our show.
Oh, yeah. If you want to help our show, if you go on iTunes, you like our show, put a comment there. And also on Podcast Land, search Daryl and Ed. Funniest Thing with Daryl and Ed. You'll find our show there. they picked us randomly as a show of the month at Discovered. So feel free to give us any likes or comments if you enjoy our show. We really appreciate that.
And the one thing to sum this whole thing up is if when fear starts to tell me negative things about what I can and cannot do, you know what I do?
What's that?
I tell me something good. I tell me that God loves me.
Yeah.
I tell me something good. I remind me that God loves me.
Yeah. Visit DarylandEd.com to find easy links to everything we do, including the Funniest Thing podcast on iTunes, our YouTube page, our Twitter at Daryl and Ed, and you don't even have to be on Facebook to see our Funniest Thing Facebook fan page, because the feed is right there on our website. And as always, thank you for being a part of Funniest Thing with Daryl and Ed on Unity Online Radio.
Tell me something good. Woo! Tell me that God loves me. Yeah! Woo!
Do the rocker bow.
Yes. I can't quite do it. I'll do it this way.
Oh, yes. The 70s rocker.
With the guitar pick.
Oh, yeah, the guitar pick. Show him it. Very, very 70s rocker.
Yes.
Me and Ed wouldn't quite know about that.
Don't worry, I filled everyone in. Our fans know about it. Most of them, anyway.
Are we still rolling?
Yeah, we're going to shut it off now.